We are back to close out the regular season. This is the last game of the 18 game round robin number 2, and J Team are on the cusp of going through the most improbable stretch this week, going potentially 6-0, could go all the way to first place behind Uniboy and Kongria and the rest of the team that's been doing so great. A big thanks to our sponsors here at CTBC, with us always from the start of this year all the way to the very end of the summer split. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you here. Now, Nightstar, this one is for all the marbles, because if J-Team win, they get a tiebreaker with PSG. They're guaranteed to go into top 2. They get that playoff bye. But if they lose, they then have to go through a tiebreaker with DCG, and whoever wins is then gonna get into the second place. So a lot of stakes hanging on this one. A lot simpler for Beyond Gaming, but what do you make of J-Team's immaculate run so far?
This week 6, definitely quite magical from them being able to pull off the 5-0 so far. And the last team in their way to securing that bye, Beyond Gaming, they've been a little bit out of sorts. So I definitely give initial advantage over to J-Team as they look to try and close things out. That's my initial impressions. J-Team, though, still not without their own faults, right? It does seem to be pretty hinged on Lil V's performance. And the game earlier we saw today, he stepped up big time.
Oh, for sure. Mega Bank Beyond Gaming, though, we're going to go through their roster. Lika still going to be playing into the top side over there. Usha in the jungle. And Minji here. Always a big question what he's going to play. Talia has seemed to be the big champion for him. Wako, I would say definitely the Kalista master out of the two between himself and even Little V. This guy has some mean Kalista plays coming in. If there's ever a team to play spoiler, I think it's Beyond Gaming. They have a knack for getting those upsets.
Yeah, stopping PSG's undefeated run, that happened, right, last year. So they have been the absolute joker when it comes to spoiling other people's fun. And this team, I think, also has started to figure out how they want to play with Likai. Likai picking more of those carry-style, flank-heavy champions, which is definitely more so in his wheelhouse. But we get to see TAIPEI J-Team take to the Rift for a second time today. First game of the day, and now the last game of the day. Rock, Koya, Uniboy, Lil V, Enzo. No changes in the roster.
We're going to take a look
the 80 carry comparison.
At the bot lane here. A lot more damage focus onto Wako, as the damage numbers support that, the hyper carries support that as well. Both of them have great Sivir answers. They both know how to play the Lucian Nami lanes, and both have the hyper carries as well. I would say they're the complete package in terms of our 80 carries this split.
And I think Lucian will certainly be a focal point in this draft because you want to play Sivir because of how oppressive she can be. But because of the Kalista Lucian answers, I think those will be the clear targets when it comes to the ban phase.
So in we go to the last game of regular season proper. It is going to start out with some Sylas bans against Minji. Again, Minji's pull is fairly predictable. You take away the Sylas, you take away the Talia, his priority really drops off a cliff after that one. Beyond Gaming, on the other hand, they are going to take away Poppy, one of the few tank supports here. Going to open up Husha's Wukong, which he loves, and also the Ari from Uniboy, probably his best champion as well.
Kalista taken off the board from the side of J-Team. We'll see if they also toss out the Lucian ban, as it will be Beyond Gaming to ban the Lucian. So now we're looking at the Siversary handshake.
Yeah, most of the time we have seen teams just go for the handshake and ban something else instead.
Could be a Yumi ban.
Yeah, could be that. If you ban the Yumi, then you could handshake and then also get a Gnar off of it, which I think is pretty good. Neither of these players, I would say, are really much of.
Oh, Wukong.
Oh, okay. Wuxia being focused instead.
But it leaves the Talia. And this is Minji's probably best left available champion. So no doubt, I would expect J-Team were prepared for this situation. But it does mean Beyond Gaming, one of the conditions for this team to succeed is get Minji onto a comfortable champion. So that's the first checkbox now ticked.
Yeah, J-Team, the typical response today has been just to go Sivir Yumi, but I don't think it's been working out all that well. Yumi definitely has some weaknesses, as she doesn't get much when she's left in a 2v1 lane. She can't do much. So we are actually seeing the Yumi being foregone here. Instead, the Nautilus coming in from Enso. Wuxia with a interesting expression right here. I'm not exactly sure what's so amusing here. But they are going to go with the Zeri handshake. Of course, is going to happen this round. What would you want to see out of the support here?
Yeah, it could be the Yumi in this instance. It really just boils down to, does Rock have one of those champions that can help facilitate top lane pressure? Where, you know, if you have the Nautilus roam advantage, but you don't really have a lane to gank for, it doesn't really allow you to cash in on that advantage. But Kino, of course, being the melee support champion specialist, opts for the Alistar instead, which I think makes a lot more sense for BYG. And it also really plays well with the Talia, right? You don't have to hit the headbutt pulverize. You can just headbutt them into the rocks, and that sets up for the pulverize afterwards after the stun expires.
It's so disgusting to watch the Alistar Talia combo. Definitely a classic when it comes to bot lane tower dives and ganking. J-Team going to answer back with some global of their own. The Galio, potentially to cancel out some of that magic damage. While J-Team will ban the junglers, starting with the Trundle here. Kind of interesting. Everyone banning Trundle these days. On the other hand, Beyond Gaming taking away the Vi for the chase down potential. To expect to see even more of those jungle bans come through. Indeed, Xin Zhao can be taken off the table for Wuxia, leaving not a lot open to him. He still has the Lee Sin, but she might not get the first priority to pick it.
Yeah, and seeing the Trundle get taken off the table, I'm immediately thinking about the Sejuani or the Ornn being a possibility, because now you don't have that extra ultimate shredding your resistances up in the top side, and really just trying to facilitate more and more resources into this bottom lane by picking one of those weak side top laners. Of course, Gnar's still left available, and Kongria. This is a staple Kongria champion, of course, and when you take so many picks away from this jungle, man, Lee Sin definitely looking better and better.
Yeah, this is a difficult situation for Beyond Gaming. You know, there's a lot of top lane champions still open. We have seen Gnar sort of fall off the priority just because how slow sort of ramps into a good team fight situation when everyone is running around on catch compositions.
Yep. Sivir speed is definitely really good to try and take advantage of Gnar, but it's also Lee Kai's most comfortable champion. When you look at blind pick champs, it's probably what he is going to land on, although I would have preferred something like the Sejuani. Oh,
I think Gwen, yeah, I wanted Gwen the most just because, you know, it's, we haven't seen Rock just counter pick with something like the Jax or the Fiora come out versus the Gwen. I think Rock's champion pool has been rather safe. His go-to has been the GP. And Gwen is a great champion when people are running into you. You just pop the mist there and you stand there.
Absolutely.
Oh, I just said that, but Rock is going to make me eat my words.
It gets locked in. All right, Clement, start eating those words, because Rock's going to take his opportunity, lock in the Jax, and this will be the matchup to really keep track of, right? Because bot lane, you've got the Sivir versus Zeri. This is sort of a bit of a wash lane unless if one of these supports are able to catch out the other AD carry. It's going to be pretty neutral. So all the action is going to happen around this top half of the map, which is going to be that Gwen Jax.
Well, I think they must be pretty confident in the Jax to pull it out. Like, it's been a while since I've seen Rock on this champion, and there's a lot of stakes here. So it's not just like a throwaway pick to confuse people for postseason. This is actually something I think he knows how to play here. And with that pick, I think a lot of the dynamics do change. I was calling for the Gwen in hopes that there's no Jax. I was proven wrong. So in light of that, what do you make of these compositions? Which side are you favoring?
Holistically, I do like Beyond Gaming's just a little bit more. I think this plays more into their wheelhouse. And for the side of J-Team, they like to play a lot more brawly. And the Jax doesn't necessarily group up very well in order to help facilitate how they want to play later on in the game. Early on, definitely could be them being able to generate a lot of these leads through the lanes, and I expect to see that from them. And not to mention, like, Uniboy on Galio, definitely not a pick that we expect to see come out from him.
Yeah, it's been much more popular with the Sivir, but Uniboy typically on something more of a carry potential. You know, when he flashed the Azir, I thought that was going to be the pick for him. Instead, going with the meta right now. And another big question I have in my mind is, what is a topside focused game plan going to be like for J-Team? Because we just haven't seen that the entire year. They've been bot side focused all the way through. So very curious to see how they're going to make that work.
Yeah, and it could still be them trying to force their way into that bottom half of the map, as that has just been their method of attack to try and get Lil V snowballed, get him a bunch of gold, and put him in a spot where he can just carry towards the late game. As we get to see our Keystones, nothing too surprising in that regard, actually just matching really all across the board except for that top lane. And that's an interesting take coming in from Rock, going for the 1v1 straight duel up potential instead of investing into the grasp, having a more steady lane phase into the ability to try and team fight a little bit more reliably.
Yeah, it's a very interesting build coming up from him. You know, usually we see the corrupting pot coming in for Jax's, but this one is a straight towards first item.
This is pretty greedy.
Yeah,
it's really just taking advantage of Lee Kai not being a very good laner.
As you say that, I think Rock is proving you right now. Just goes in and bops Lee Kai a couple times. Gets the wave shoved in there as well. It's always a nice way to actually secure a level 2 if you're confident in your level 1 and you just start hitting the enemy champion. The minions target you, and then your minions target the wave. So, you know, win-win on multiple ends if you can make it work out. And Rock, again, going on to Lee Kai. He's going to get forced to stun onto him, get some good damage. Oh, this changes everything. Honestly, this Jax pick coming in from Rock gives J-Team so many more avenues to play through. I want to see Rock carry. It's been a while since he's got some Rock action here. In the meantime, you know, he'll get hit up, but it doesn't matter all that much.
Yeah, it feels like J-Team, they opt for... Okay, another trade. Things looking quite up for Rock in this instance. Whenever you are running the lethal tempo, you are just trying to find these straight up auto attack trades as much as possible. But back to that bottom lane, it felt like the Nautilus pick wasn't necessarily a pick to try and punish whatever pick that Waka would take. It was more like they didn't want to have Lil V play against it, which has, you know, last playoffs, that was the bane of their existence, right? Lil V just constantly getting hooked up by that Nautilus pick. So they make sure they deny it, and I think that was most likely the plan of attack here with that Nautilus pickup.
I almost feel like that's why they picked up Enso, is just okay, let's have someone that is really good on Nautilus so we can take it ourselves and we won't have to play against it. Just, jokes aside, coming back into the lane phase a little bit more, Beyond Gaming already off to a strong start in this bottom lane with Wako shoving in here. And topside, still no action. I do want to point out that Likai does not have a flash here. So 1v1, he does get some benefits. But when the gank comes in, that could be pretty dangerous for him. He's going to need help if he's pushed up this far.
Yep. Nail it on the head. As Kongria making his way up to the top lane, take a trade right now. And Kongria is here to support.
Yeah, I think Likai is gonna have some troubles right here. There's a huge minion wave that's keeping him alive, and Kongria trying to find the auto attack. Does get the slowdown, and they're not gonna attempt it. Wow, good play from Likai.
Yeah, understanding that he had such a large minion wave built up, if they took a fight in that minion wave with the ignite available for Likai, felt like he was at pretty good odds to at least trade 1-for-1.
And I also want to point out Minji was there as well, so they definitely figured out that, oh, well, this is not just going to be a quick kill. Minji comes over, it could be a double over to Leah. They do back out there, and Likai with a pretty strong start of the laning phase here. Quite well done on his part. And we are heading towards very close to the level 6 spots for both of these mid laners. Level 5 right now, 2 waves, and we should be going into the level 6 territories. With how the waves are pushed out, do Beyond Gaming have a chance here to just get that 4v2 early?
They are trying to set up 4, perhaps, an early dragon from both of these teams. And we'll see where the roams start coming in, right? Because now we're level 6 in the mid lane, and clearly both of these side lanes from J-Team, whether it's Rock because he's playing the Jax, or because they want to try and gank for Lil V. Both avenues are packed, kind of on the table for them at the moment, and this will really signal the identity of J-Team, right? Are they actually willing to play around Rock, or is Rock being able to get counterpick more of a, hey, all right, you get to have an advantageous lane, but we're still not going to change our overall game plan of non-stop ganking for Lovi.
Yeah, you get to play a side lane post 30 minutes. Good job, Rock. Now you're on your own. So,
yeah,
could be that for sure. Rock is hitting level 6, very strong power spike at the moment. And we actually have Beyond Gaming now being the ones going towards the top side. Ooh. Usha definitely thinking about paying Rock a visit right here. Let's see if he pops the blast cone, and we do have the big trade. Counter strike already down. Rock a little bit open. Needlework goes down. Stun does land, and goodbye, Rock. I guess it's back to plan A for JT.
Back to the bottom lane they go. However, Uniboy is making his way up, so it does look like they want to try and collapse on this situation. Rock doesn't have teleport, so even after respawn, won't be able to rejoin the party. And Likai actually, because of that knowledge of perhaps Uniboy making his way up, actually pulls off of trying to get the tower play.
Yeah, they're not overdoing their hand right here. You see the pings going down, and Uniboy, he now is running in with the Ghost and Ignite, looking for some of those kills. And we have our level 6s online right now, and so a little bit further to the depth charge coming in, but both of these mid laners could find their way towards the bottom. Kongria has been hovering around. He's really been looking for that kill onto Talia. Hasn't been able to find Minji's number just yet, and we see pings on both sides, so they clearly know that each other are there. They're fully aware of this one. Likai, actually, I like this move by Likai. You know, he's just making sure that J-Team is going to take a while if they do want to get that that tower dive down. Minji going to walk into Uniboy, but actually fast finger gets out perfectly fine.
Yeah, of course. We've done Rattle there. Good.
Uniboy now being the target.
Take
Ignite goes down.
Here.
Don't find the crowd control. In comes back the Galio, the burst damage in. Husha actually goes back for the stun. Can they find the kill onto Kongria? It's going to be a 1-for-1. Jungle's both down.
Here.
Up for grabs. And Wako is going to come in first here. Rock trying to find something back, but he's caught in no man's land. Beyond Gaming, they're living up to their name as the spoilers.
Oh dear. J-Team fans getting a little bit nervous here, as that will be Beyond Gaming out to a 15 500 gold lead at just 9 minutes into the game. The side of J-Team, they weren't able to secure that Rift Herald either, so they will have to allocate resources back towards this top side to try and secure that. As it will be them possibly with advantage, but now Lee Kai, he still has his ultimate available. They could just try and rerun this fight once more.
We're going to start from the top here. Husha not able to find the crowd control initially, but they know Uniboy doesn't have flash, so we're going to chase down here.
This wall.
The big thing for me, ooh, that wall was up. Yes,
kind of a no-no.
Yeah. And Minji just wanted to prove that he used his ultimate in that fight. Difference here, Wako actually coming in while Sivir still bot lane.
Yeah. Lil V, of course, just wants to continue to farm up as much as possible, get to that 300 CS breakpoint. But now another fight.
No, he doesn't find the smite. Husha still gets it, and I think Enzo is left for dead. So is Uniboy. Gets the flash, and well, at least he will get out.
We'll get out. But at what cost, right? They lose yet another objective. They use yet another fight. And this is incredibly a rough position for J-Team to play. Yes, the Sivir will get to a point where she can just outscale everyone. But that point is still yet to be had. It's quite a ways in the future. And right now, Beyond Gaming have a very large advantage, getting themselves that first dragon. You know, it is a bit of a slower first dragon take. At the same time, though, J-Team, what are their tools to try and find a pick? It's very limited in that regard.
I think you were right about their game plan. It should just be the bot lane. You know, that's where the Nautilus is at. That's where Sivir can speed everyone up for the chase downs. But it just hasn't happened. Like, Beyond Gaming, I think very cleverly has just played towards the top side. They haven't given them the opportunity to actually find any chances there in the 2v2 lane. Now Minji coming back with a quite a solid lead. Actually, only 400 gold. That's a lot less than I thought with the 2 extra takedowns, but that's what we're getting on the board right now. J-Team might have a chance to find a pick. It's creeping around the corner. Lots of things going down, though. And they're going to be spotted as Minji is going to get the combo. The Alistar to Leah. This is what we've been waiting for. Congrats now pulling back.
And there's just a good amount of CC coming in from both the Viego and the Alistar that really help facilitate Minji on this Talia pick. And okay, Kino.
Okay.
I think they really want to bait this.
It's going to be fine, but that was rather
wall comes through.
Positioning. Galio comes down, but
One-way trip.
Already dead. Little V is going to get a lot of damage on the backside, but Husha actually stays alive
reset.
and even
That's
gets
massive.
the HP back. Husha is fine here. Oh, he's coming back unstoppable. He
Oh
gets another
God.
reset. That's a triple reset for Husha. A triple for Minji, and J-Team. Their chances of getting that #1 spot fading before their eyes. Rairachu reminded us to tell everyone that she's a J-Team fan and that she loves everyone on the team. But unfortunately for her, I would tell her to avert her eyes.
You know, perhaps she's taking a nice little nap, you know? Gone to bed, resting up. As we get to see the replay, it's very easy collapse coming in from BYG. They execute around this play so cleanly.
This is unfair.
and they were so close to killing Husha a number of times. But right at the very end, he gets a reset. And this is the power of Viego when you have strong lanes to play around. Because all of a sudden, they can help facilitate you to get those resets and be able to snowball fights afterwards. Otherwise, you just really fizzle out. So I like this approach from them, and J-Team haven't done enough in the early game to really take advantage of the power trough in a Viego early season.
Yeah, I just want to say, so far Husha has been the best Galio, the best Viego, and the best Lee Sin in this game. Amazing stuff for him. Yeah. Oh boy, the Galio play to go forward, charge down, and then still get the crowd control. He dodged out 2 abilities from Lee Sin on the other hand. that was just Viego things. Absolutely painful to watch. And J Team, this is where you test your resolve. This is where you write your legend. Okay, I still have a sliver of hope for J Team. I'm still keeping Raichu's faith alive for now in this broadcast. Let's see if they can claw it back. Or tell me how to claw it back, I guess.
How they claw it back is gonna come down to Jax and Sivir. They need to find some way to make a play around these two champions, get them a kill or two, or at least be able to generate some CS leads for those champions. And then once they're able to get to the 2-item power spike for Rock or the 3-item power spike for Sivir, then they might have the opportunity to have an avenue of attack to actually pressure the map some way, shape, or form.
Okay, baby steps, but we do have a plan. Rock first, get him this tower.
4-man top.
Yeah. All right, they're opening up some bounty gold back. It's always a great way to come back into the game. This is not exactly a one-for-one trade for J Team. They actually get a little bit more gold on this one.
Yeah, as it will be bot tower and possibly siege into mid tower. Mid tower at least survives for the time being. J Team trade up slightly.
Comeback mechanics. There we go.
Still a 5.5k gold lead coming. So
I'm trying to be optimistic.
We're gonna have to be huffing hard.
Okay. The copium is here. This is always so funny for me. Like, Beyond Gaming, you might look at them and think like, oh, this is kind of like a 6th place team. But they've beaten PSG. They're on the track to beat J Team. They've taken down CFO. And they've also beat DCG. So never count them out. They're such a dangerous squad.
Yeah, our top 6 has been so competitive this split. And it really does feel like in any situation, depending on the day, we could have that surprise upset in one of these top seeds. So that just makes this matchup even more important for J Team to close out, because that guarantees them through the first round, having that first round bot.
It's so important for the team to actually be able to conserve their energy, observe what other people are doing, have more time to come up with plans. So I think the buy itself is massive. Just getting that few days of extra preparation time here. And I do want to come back into the game after that being said. Rock seems to be the go-to answer for J Team. You called it. They're force-feeding him these bounty gold turrets across the map, trying to get him to that 2nd item. That's a lot of damage being dealt by Wako right there. I guess we're still a ways off, but when do J Team have to fight? When do J Team have to say, okay, Rock, your time is up. Here we go. No more sideways.
Thankfully, because of that late dragon, they have a little bit more time than you would expect, because it's only 3.5 minutes until that next dragon. I think J Team should still look to try and get a steal, but they shouldn't over-index into the fight. If Konya gets the steal, that's great. But I think it's about damage mitigation coming in from J Team and just try and prepare for the 4th dragon. As Hextech on the table, and given that is Hextech, it also gives you some avenues of comeback potential, right? Because of the extra flank angles that you can get. So if Jax is able to just continue farming up, he might be in a spot where come that 4th dragon, he's going to be insanely strong to take over the fights.
Already up to 6,000 gold lead here from Beyond Gaming, and we finally are going to see a response onto Lee Kai here coming into the lane. So far, Rock has not been able to acquire an actual CS lead. He's been on the side lane for a long time, but just the early game, how far they fell behind, that's still going to be a ways off. I like that he's going to be building for the MR first here. Of course, Minchi extremely fed at this point, so we have to go with that one instead of the Frozen Heart. Seen a lot of times here. And we are going to get a momentary chill.
Yeah, a lot of value coming in from the magic resistance purchase, given that Talia is ahead, and also just the fact that he's going to be laning against Lee Kai quite a bit of this game. So double magic damage threat even a splash of magic damage coming in from Wako, right?
Yeah.
So that will definitely help. And perhaps once they finish that item, maybe they feel emboldened to try and pull off a play, but certainly Lee Kai has the tools to also deal with it too, right? Where he has the completed Blade Duel and definitely itemizing towards the Void Staff very early on.
A lot of power coming in from both sides. I will say that J-Team, at least this time, I think they have a very viable front line coming in from Uniboy. He's got the Crown of the Shattered Queen, plus the Zanya's, plus the Stasis ready to go. Trying to get a pick off, but ooh, Lee Kai with the Spider Senses, he's not going anywhere near the start of that river. And in the meantime, Beyond Gaming aren't going to find a lot more to just take away from the side of J-Team as they collapse onto this entire top side. When in the meantime, taking their own red, the buff galore, the Beyond Gaming.
Small advantages taken by the side of BYG on the side. Knowing that, hey, they're trying to make a play towards the bot side, that opens up this top half of the jungle for us to deny away from the side of J-Team, and that's a small objectives, right? You deny them from getting access to that gold, and now they're going to set up towards this dragon. Jax, just bail out. Oh, he's caught.
Rock and Minji also coming in right here. Flash over the wall, and he's out. Good sidestep on the side of Rock. Does have to burn the flash here. It's going to make the next Drake fight a little bit harder. I don't think J-Team is going to contest. As you said, they've always got that fourth one to look forward to.
Yeah, again, this was a slightly later first Dragon take coming out from the side of Beyond Gaming, so J-Team willing to give away this third one. I think if it was an early one, perhaps it forces them in a position where they feel more compelled to try and contest and try and play off of Lil V and his 2 item powers, but now giving him a little bit more time to allow Rock to be that big threat. Okay.
Gets the kickback. The Galio's coming in. Flash has to get used by Minji, but he's also out. He does have the flash right there. Kind of a weird seismic shove there coming in from him. I think he was trying to interrupt Kongyu as he jumped across the wall or something. Didn't really work out. J-Team do expend a lot of abilities right there. That's 2 ultimates in the mid jungle, and instantly Beyond Gaming smell blood as they start taking over the river.
And in addition, that's also Rock burning his teleport. So a lot of resources to try and secure the pick off onto Lee Kai. So now he has the teleport advantage. Minji also has Unleashed teleport available to him. Hexgate's taken. They really want to continue to pressure the map, force a pick somewhere. It's not happening.
Yeah, I was waiting for the point of optimism where you come out and say, oh, this is how we do it, this is the plan, but then the answer is it's not happening. Well, okay, I kind of agree with you on that one. Big team's still on struggle street right now. They're looking to come into their jungle. I feel like there's that chance to find a pick when someone is trying to place one of those deep wards here. They're also getting split off in the meantime. The cooldown on Galio's heroic entrance is so long these days that Beyond Gaming are just not worried whatsoever. They see where Uniboy is. They have accounted for all the possible angles where J-Team can flank them at, and Minji is going to start by just walling people off, getting some damage on that tower. Well, I can find any actually, and Uniboy is the one to charge forward. Kind of interesting here. Minji takes a lot of damage. We have the Q1 on Korea Lee Syndrome coming in. They do find Minji! He pops into the stasis first, but Korea goes down. They do get the main damage to Little V is untouched. He's dishing out tons of damage into the back line, and they might be able to hold this one off. Rocco's back in with the stun, forcing the stasis off of Lee Kai. Wako trading shots back and forth, but J-Team are coming out ahead. They want the miracle. They want the first seed. Wako is down. The turnaround is here. Kino next to fall, and J-Team win a massive comeback fight.
That is such a massive, massive fight win for them, Clemens. And it's Kongre the impetus of that comeback, being able to find the angle into the backline, being able to find the kick onto Minji, and even though he does use the stopwatch to buy time, it's not enough, as he eventually does fall for a big shutdown kill. And more importantly, when Lee Kai goes in, he gets exhausted, so that ultimate coming out from him doesn't do enough damage to scare off and deter J-Team from pushing for more kills. We get to see the replay. They sort of fish for an engage onto Uniboy as more for fun engage, and that actually gets punished heavily because Minji, he walks up trying to follow up onto it and ends up being close enough for Konya to engage. And you see there, Lee Kai goes in, hits multi-man ultimate with that snip. Unfortunately, exhausted limits the potential. As you can see, these health bars, they were so low. Imagine if that was a full powered ult coming in from Gwen, it would have shredded that fight.
Yeah, there's so many blinking HP bars, and you have to remember, if Viego got any one of those kills, he could have flipped the fight right there.
Yep.
Huge win for JT, morale booster for sure, and most importantly, we now have Little V stood to the end. Now with the Infinity Edge, they have a winning point, at least in terms of the damage department now.
Yes. Still, 45 seconds until the dragon, and as of this moment though, BYG have pretty good control over the area, so this is actually a little bit troubling to try and figure out how J-Team get back into this area to try and contest, but actually, a bit of a reset of the situation. Recall coming in from Kino, probably to grab more wards, right? And that will give J-Team possibly the breathing space to walk into River.
Konya already finding the backline, but Wako finds him too.
Hello.
And Konya has to jump on, right on out of there. Uniboy waiting for the heroic entrance to enter. Let's see if Konya can find a flank into this one. This is for the Mountain Soul, and potentially for first place for J-Team. They want that date with BSG. They're going to start out the Hextech Drake here. Poor thing is where Galio is going to go. Minji trying to fish for a combo on the sideline. He's going to knock everyone off. Konya, can he find himself into the midst of the enemy team? He gets Husha, and in goes Galio. Rock gets some alone time on the top side against Lee Kai. We have Uniboy charging in with a 3-man taunt. The Drake is targeting down his backline. The Uniboy going through. Lee Kai finds the top side against Little V. Little V has to go into stasis. Rock trying his best. He flashes away. He's trying to take Minji down. He can't do it. Little V is down. Uniboy falls next. It's going to be a double kill for the Gwen. Enzo trying to run away. Cannot make it. Beyond Gaming, they make them pay. They kite back from JT, and now they're going to get the Hextech Soul.
The wall just comes in and buys so much space. This is why Talia is just so powerful for teams like BYG and DCG who know how to utilize this champion when it comes to objective fights. The wall just does so much work, and the side of J-Team, they're forced to try and make the decision. They bring in Konya trying to engage. He goes into the middle of them, sets up for a great ultimate. But because of the extra time created by the wall, it's not quite enough follow-up coming in from J-Team, as it will be that Baron buff secured now by BYG. Surely we go into that replay, and the wall goes out. And here's the thing, they don't have exhaust to deal with Lee Kai anymore in this fight, and they try and engage onto the backline. They land a great taunt, but Gwen is immune, and the immunity is being a really big pain in the butt for them. And that means they're just so split. Lil V caught out, Rock caught out. These are their big carries. And without these two, they have no damage to finish off the fight.
I feel like, J-Team, they really mismanaged their engage. They should have walked back after the initial engage failed. They had the chance to do so. But they went in. Little V was cut off from the rest of the team. Little V and Rock were on one side. Beyond Gaming could just focus them down, and the rest of the members couldn't do anything about it. It was a bit of a scuffed team fight, if I'm being completely honest. I think J-Team, they didn't communicate well enough to retreat onto the same side. If they took the front to back, they still would have a chance with Galio, but that's not going to be the case. And now they're looking down a barrel of a 9K gold deficit. If the last comeback was hard, this one is going to be damn near impossible. I've said that before this game one time already, so I'm going to give J-Team some benefit of the doubt.
They also did struggle against Impunity, and they managed to find the win against them yesterday. So it's definitely not outside the realm of possibility. Luby also at that 3-item power spike. Never doubt the power, the carry power coming in from a 3-item Sivir. So that is certainly something to keep note of in these team fights. The issue is, again, when it comes to what we think about for win conditions for J-Team, it is Uniboy being that reliable second carry. And Galio, this isn't quite it.
Enzo actually flashes in, but
He's all by himself.
That's unfortunate timing there, as the wall also takes away everyone. So Minji wall for flash onto Enzo. Not the biggest trade in the world, but the depth charge down means that Beyond Gaming can kite away with it, and at this point it really is about locking down Wako or Minji. So big ultimate missing, Beyond Gaming feeling emboldened to just push forward right here. Little B also spell shield down. Uniboy gonna get hit up a little bit. Rock coming in by the corner. In the meantime, Lekai still chipping away at this tower. He's gonna get the mid lane down. And Beyond Gaming, they feel the heat. They got the towers, pretty much 2 towers down at this point. They're gonna be turning around and just looking to see if anyone from J-Team actually puts a bit too far forward. Slow onto Little V. This could be the start of something. J-Team have to back out. We're getting into those tense moments. Kongyu trying to find a flank into the back line. He gets spotted out immediately, and Husha is going to zone him out. Beyond Gaming not actually trying to walk away from this one. The tower is down to less than I would say less than 800 HP here. It's Beyond Gaming ready to push in again. No death charge still. Minji going to run in once more, and the tower, one shot from going down, is going to fall. Beyond Gaming, without the Baron buff, I feel like they're pretty satisfied with this push, and they're going to go home.
They truly do pretty much get the maximum out of that Baron buff. Helps balloon their lead to now 11k. Very, very powerful position coming in for the side of Beyond Gaming, and they're looking to try and close out the deal. It's going to be Elder Dragon in 90 seconds. That's the fight that J-Team have to win. They cannot just concede this over.
It's going to be a tough call here because J-Team pretty much needs to kill everyone twice. It's double Zhonya's, double GA by now on Beyond Gaming. They can survive the burst. They can stand up again. And the problem is you can't run away from them. Those auto attacks can slow people down. So J-Team need a decisive edge right at the start. It's going to be hard to find it. Eno gets rock first. He's taken back. HP low. He jumps. He still has the flash. Ignite ticking. Can't save him. He will be back for Elder Dragon, but just barely.
Yeah, that timers will just line up, and he does have the teleport as well. And given that it is Hex Tech Rift, it means that he can return to the scene relatively quickly. Now, bot lane siege, wall comes out yet again to wall off, section off J-Team.
It does have the wave clear to keep himself alive here, but does take some damage. Husha gonna walk right up into this tower. JT can't do anything without Jax here. They're gonna be getting over their inhibitor. And Beyond Gaming, if they really want to go for it, they could go for all three. Kongyu trying to find a flank into the back line.
Gonna have to pull him away from the base.
Yeah, it's actually a pretty smart move here. As Beyond Gaming definitely are a little bit distracted here, but Elder is up. This is where everything could change. Husha actually flashes
very far away from the
he actually burns the ultimate here. J-Team do have a way to come back into this fight now.
Kino Wako, they took the Hex Gate out. And then Husha just looks for a fight immediately right after, but now...
And so, no, he just walks across, there's no one there, he goes down. Oh, the spider senses from Husha are so good, and that's going to be a 5v4 start for the Elder. This is where things could change. Like, if Kongyu gets the steal, it could be really good for them. And it looks like Beyond Gaming are just going to try and bait for the maximum amount of time. Yeah, they're not even risking anything. They know they have the super minion inside this enemy base. No need to risk it. They take an uncontested Elder. Now heading towards Baron. Oh, J-Team's chances.
Looks like J-Team are going to have to play for the first round by tomorrow rather than secure it today. Test for that first seed. Beyond Gaming living up to the name of Joker, coming out with spoilers. They secure themselves their third Uber objective, Uber buff, and this is the Mega Uber push with their second Baron, first Elder, and also the Hextech Soul ticking.
Base is also just wide open, only the Nexus towers to consider. Judging by the pings, Beyond Gaming want to make sure that J-Team are truly 6 feet under as they ping towards the top side. No chances here. I think this is pretty funny from Beyond Gaming. You know, to be honest, I feel like they usually play a little bit more risky, and they have nothing on the board for them. Like, their only difference here is actually just kind of changing the potential of who gets second place. Couldn't make it. They could give DCG a chance in this one. Great friends of DCG, Beyond Gaming are. And here they go into the top side. J-Team have been looking for the flank. Kongre did find an upset teamfight win when he was able to take Minji out of the fight right at the beginning. He's going to try that again with the Hextech gates, but oh boy, Beyond Gaming are actually just crowding the Hextechs already. There's no way to find the flank. It has to be a front to back 5v5 versus the Alistar, and Pino's just gonna go in. Uniboy already popping into stasis. It's gonna force Enzo to re-engage onto this one. Pino's just slowly taking down 2 tower shots. The guy enters back line. That's already 2 dead. That's 3 dead. 2 up into the air, and J-Team's chances at just tying with PSG are down the drain. Beyond Gaming actually with the beautiful spoiler game. We just saw a cheeky play from Pino. He actually had the PSG emote the entire time. Was waiting to flash it. Pino is a PSG agent for sure.
Beyond Gaming secure PSG's first seed. As now J-Team will be forced to play for that first round bye tomorrow against DCG. And wow, what a game. Beyond Gaming really showing that they can make a run for one of these world slots. And that really opens things up here in just a 6-team race. Realistically.
Yeah, I feel like the difference between our top 6 teams had mainly came from the first round, when a lot of them were, I still feel like, finding their way throughout the team compositions and the meta. In the second round, they've been extremely close. Even our teams that are further behind, like Beyond Gaming and Franklin Sports, have proved that they can just take out the best quite easily at times. So we are getting to a point of parity across the board. So with that, we are going to confirm tomorrow there are going to be 2 tiebreakers, and that is going to be between DCG and J-Team to see who gets second place, who gets third, and then we also have Frankie Sports potentially catching up with CFO to see who gets 4th and who gets 5th. Wow, I did not expect this. And the more things change, the more things stay the same. Congratulations, PSG. You're still first.
PSG secure themselves the first seed. Even with a bit of a slow end to the split, they managed to close the deal, secure that first seed, and now they've got bonus time to figure things out. And we know PSG is just that reliable team. When you give them time to prepare, they typically reward that faith in coming out with very strong performance out the gates from that bonus time.
Absolutely. We're taking a look at the draft here, and I just want to say, people, yes, Sivir is really strong, but you don't always gotta play rundown comps with Sivir. Just a good old front to back comp is also really good with Sivir. I feel like a lot of these rush at you compositions are so easy to read. You just snag the Alistar and you're just like, well, okay, run at me. Try your best. I want to see what happens.
Yeah, when the composition is just this binary, it also hurts the fact that they weren't able to get ahead early, right? Imagine a world where they were somehow able to get advantages. Then with Hextech Soul or Hextech Rift, the amount of flank pressure you can apply with the Galio Jax would have been pretty nuts in that situation. Unfortunately, they weren't able to get to that point, not even close. This was supposed to be play around rock, and they never gave him resources. He dies 3 times early on in the lane phase, and this composition feels pretty much dead in the water because Uniboy is stuck on a Galio.
There's no real focus in the laning phase early, and they also lost the skirmishes incredibly hard on the side of J-Team. So I think it was a good attempt here, and this is the big thing that we were looking at J-Team is how are they going to incorporate 12.13 patch metas when they missed the entire first week of 12.13. And the answer seems to be not great just yet. I feel like PSG actually has the better read here, where they're just like willing to say, hey, you know what? We actually don't need to run a pure catch composition. We can actually still play front to back with Sivir. Okay, we can chill on the gotta live fast or die young type of compositions. And I gotta hand it to Corgi. I feel like PSG are still. It's hard to say PSG have the best squad because of Hanabi and Unified's. I honestly think they've actually taken large steps back. But Corgi, the meta read, the experience, and of course Corey are still there.
Yeah, it really is just the experience difference coming in for the side of PSG, allowing them to get to yet another first seed. But as we get to see the post-game breakdown, it is Lil V doing his best, right, on the Sivir, and of course he's going to do a lot of damage. The issue was Uniboy, usually the typical secondary carry, not there to help prop up because of the fact he was on this Galio trying to make some early action happen that just didn't pan out.
Definitely did not, and J-Team, they will have to reflect on this one, perhaps about giving Minji his best champion. 5-1-10, won all of the early game duels, got the triple kill in the top side jungle right there. And, that's always scary about Minji. Minji is the type of player that I feel you can limit him in regular split, but then you go into playoffs and you have to start guessing. What is his first champion? What is going to be his second champion? Because he could definitely chin up something that you've never seen before, have a pocket pick that he's super good on. I feel like Minji, he is going to get weaker as the amount of games are played because you figure out his pull better. But that first meeting with Minji after 1 week of break, that's so scary if I'm a coach.
Definitely a lot of questions to try and answer once they get into playoffs. And I also want to shout out Lee Kai, who has performed so much better as the split came to a close. A lot of his early lane phases were just overly exploited, and he was too reliant on the Gnar to actually do anything. And now it feels like he's much more well-rounded and he understands how he has to play the game. But today's results, J-Team, they were so close to getting the 6-0 week. No. And they fell short. And now they're stuck in a tie-break battle against DCG.
Yeah, as we saw, it was, the battles weren't really that close in the last 3 ones. I would say that it was a pretty clear-cut draft difference for PSG here, and for the side of Frank Esports. But we're going to be taking a look at the completed roster. There's going to be 2 tiebreakers, Deep Cross Gaming versus TAIPEI J-Team, CDBC versus Frank Esports tomorrow. Congratulations to people locked in. PSG Talent, still our first seed as always. Nothing changes in the PCS. Mega Bank Beyond Gaming going to be in 6th place. Meta Falcon Team and Impunity Esports going to be 7th and 8th in our playoff roster. Basically 2nd to 4th, still up for grabs. 2nd to 5th, excuse me.
Yeah, still a little bit of movement left to be had when it comes to playoff seeding. And I think the biggest surprise is, of course, Frank Esports being able to take advantage of the situation and get themselves up to 12 wins to try and shift things a little bit, get themselves into that top 4 spot to at least have side selection advantage in that first playoff series.
And we're going to be looking at the upcoming matches tomorrow. CFO versus Frank going to be coming in first. I believe, just judging by our side selection, it is going to be the team on the left side that has the side selection here. We do go through a system of win-loss compares, not the head-to-heads, but the SOS, the score of victories, and then going back down to the game time between the win time between the two teams. So that is how that is determined. And this has been a wonderful split so far. We've got parity. We got, if you don't look at PSG, then things really did get exciting right here. I made a couple of correct calls. I said Frankie Sports was going to overtake Beyond Gaming. I completely flunked my Impunity guess. I thought Impunity were going to be a lot better than they actually ended up being. So yeah, what were your biggest surprises or takeaways for this split?
I mean, the biggest surprise, I think everyone was surprised by the fact that Impunity flopped this hard, right? We had a lot of expectations coming in from this squad with how many changes that they underwent in the off season, and they fell very, very short of, I would imagine, their own goals. And for Frankie Sports, I outlined them as that dark horse to try and crack into the top 4, and they might actually do so.
Frank Nightstar says Frankie Esports going to Worlds as team's semi-co-owner here. That's going to be it for the regular season. Remember to tune in tomorrow. We still have the tiebreakers to decide our playoff seeding, and afterwards we're going to be taking a week off and then heading into the playoffs. It's been a wonderful split. I know you have to close off with Clement play-by-play, but I'm proud to be here in this position. I've had a great time in the PCS. I want to thank our sponsors again with CTPC, of course our organizers, Care Arena, holding up everything for us. It's been absolutely wonderful to have you here, and the Pacific Championship Series goes on into the off season and all the way to Worlds. See you tomorrow.